All right, so let me tell you my story. First of all, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease September 11th, 1996. Hodgkin's disease is a form of lymphoma. There are two kinds of lymphoma, Hodgkin's disease or non-Hodgkin's disease. Hodgkin's disease is a very slow-moving form of lymphoma, and non-Hodgkin's is a more aggressive. The running joke amongst my doctors when I was going through treatment, every time a specialist came through the door and said, "Hey, guess what? You have Hodgkin's disease. That's the best kind of cancer you can get." Really? So we came up with the tagline, 4 out of 5 doctors prefer Hodgkin's over the leading cancer. So how did I get diagnosed? Well, I was an offender bender. I thought, okay, let me go get checked out, just to be careful. I went to the ER. The doctor took a neck and chest x-ray. The doctor came back in. She said, "You know what? I think you're going to be staying for a little while." And I said, "Oh, really? Is it that bad?" And she put up the films, and you could clearly see in the x-ray a huge tumor about the size of my hand attached to my heart or across my chest. And the other tumor was from the tip of my shoulder, wrapped around my neck to the point where you could see that my trachea and my spine had actually been moved over. It was actually strangling me to death. I went through being admitted. We did a biopsy, and then we did a scan of my body, at that point called a gallium scan. Now it's called a PET scan, where they inject you with radioactive material to take a look at the tumors and see if they're anywhere else in your body. And they did a bone marrow extraction to make sure that it wasn't inside of my bone marrow. When I was actually diagnosed, it was stage 2A. So let's talk a little bit about the stages. What does that mean? Well, usually it goes from 1 to 4, 1 being the least aggressive or the easiest to treat, 4 being the most aggressive and the hardest to treat. And the way that those stages work is stage 1 is 1 tumor that's in the lymph node or in the area next to the lymph node. Lymphoma affects your lymph nodes. Just like when you get a sore throat in your neck, well, they're all over your body. And those actually are how the cancers travel. It's a blood cancer. It's in your blood. It's all through your whole body. It's systemic, just like leukemia. So once it's in one area, it can easily spread to another. Well, it is stage 1 if it's 1 tumor above or below the diaphragm. It's stage 2 if there's 2 tumors, like me, where it's above or below the diaphragm. If it's stage 3, it's 2 or more tumors, 1 above and 1 below the diaphragm. And if it's stage 4, then it's actually traveled into another major organ. Sometimes even in stage 1, it can be in a major organ next to wherever the tumor is. But generally in stage 4, it's in your brain, it's in your bone marrow, it's in some other area of your body. Okay, so you hear stage 4 and you think, okay, that's the worst possible. So how is it that they gave me 8 weeks to live? Well, again, my tumors were so big and had been in my body for so long that I didn't even know that they were there, that they were actually strangling me to death, which comes to the second part of staging. Second part of staging is either in A or B. Okay, so what does that mean? Stage A is asymptomatic, meaning there were no symptoms whatsoever. That would be me. Stage B is when you actually have some of the symptoms. So the symptoms include rapid weight loss over, say, a 6-month period. It also includes fever, generally in the evenings or at night when you get like night sweats, but it can be over 1.1 and all day long. And then awful, from what I've been told, awful itching in your back, which, let's face it, that's kind of like having menopause. So how do you know? Well, go get checked out.